I hope all of you are staying safe and healthy during this time. I would like to thank all of you for tuning in to this very important interview. As we've all seen over the last several months, there's been a huge decline, if there are any, of live events. And also, that has caused a lot of people, artists and presenting organizations to see a huge drop in their revenue. So we had to come up with a plan, and we've decided to finish out the grand finale of the 2019-2020 Portland, Los Angeles, and Hawaii International Guitar Series virtually online, presenting you the highest quality of audio and video through the platform of Zoom. These concerts will be exclusive to our audience, and you will not see these uploaded to YouTube or the internet in their entirety. So here's a great chance to support the artists and support U.S. Classic Guitar. We really appreciate your support. And today I'm very excited because we have one of the artists with us. He's one of the top guitarists in the world. He has won very prestigious awards, including first prize of the solo guitar competition of Guitar Foundation of America. And he won a Grammy Award for the best solo classical album. Jason, you there?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Sorry, just still getting set up here. Actually, I had a meeting with my president of CIM, as we are, as you mentioned, we're all making a lot of adjustments even as we go, from moment to moment. So
right,
yeah, how
great.
you doing?
Doing good. Where are you at now?
I've sort of done a lot of my virtual operations with the Jason Vieaux Classical Guitar School through ArtistWorks, and some, and videos and such, and live streams with various organizations, symphonies and such.
Great.
From my basement. This is my basement.
Excellent.
Actually, I'll give you guys a little bit of a little taste of reality.
All right, great.
Okay, that is outside the Golden Wall here. There we go. I got the plan from Target, and there you go. There's the real deal right there. So
great.
I just came from CIM. We had our first day, Cleveland Institute of Music. First day, no problems, everything pretty smooth. CIM is on site. Curtis is not. Curtis Institute of Music will be all through Zoom. So just to kind of illuminate kind of what you were talking about.
Great. Well, I would like to start off by asking you, since this pandemic has hit, have you seen a drop in the amount of live concerts you've had over the last 5 or 6 months? And if so, has this impacted you financially?
Well, I'll try to put it as succinctly as I can. I played my last concert in Jacksonville, Florida, and I had a long string of concerts, including a couple world premieres in February, including a concerto premiere performance and recording in it was in Texas for Michael Fine, and I went from there, and I actually had a run of solo recitals, which was amazing for me to have like 3 solo recitals in a row, and so, which was fantastic. And then I had 3 more of the same thing in Florida, like a tour of Florida. And then I went to Curtis to teach after that from there. And that was March 5th. I came home. And then, of course, as we all know, the word started coming across from what was happening at the airports and with the traveling. And I'm on the road, of course, 2/3 of the year. And I fly about 150,000 miles or more a year. And then I had my next concert. I actually had a break at home for 10 days. And then I was to play at a huge series in Orange, California. And then they canceled on, I think, the 7th or 8th. And after that, I would say within a week after that, my manager described it, the whole scene. I mean, basically, my manager and all other managers, through whatever networks and stuff, were all calling each other, and she described it as a bloodbath. That was her words. And I just watched all of them within a probably a 1 month period, roughly, just go like dominoes, gone. All through the rest of 2020. So income wise, that was very scary for me and my wife, and because we have 2 small kids, and that was it. I was the
Sorry to
sole, I was the sole, provider for income, and our main income was concerts. So it was a very scary time. And my whole thing, my whole goal, everything, every day was get through August. We got to get through August. If we can get through August, then we can do this. So what it came to by, June was, my wife, thank God, is a nurse.
Oh, great.
And so she was able to go back to work. And of course, as a frontliner, it's, a little bit worrisome, but she's great. She's a great nurse. And we made it through August. That's all I could say. I think we're going to make it through, and everything is going to be okay. So.
Great. And then actually from an artist's perspective, concerts, are you seeing a change in the way virtual concerts are being presented online in regards to the concert being free versus the audience paying tickets to see it?
Yeah, that was of course a concern initially, and there came a tipping point actually. I remember when my colleague and great friend Colin Davin, who is also on the faculty of Cleveland Institute of Music with me, and also on my school, the Jason Vieaux Classical Guitar School at ArtistWorks. I wanted to bring him onto that about 3 years ago or so. We, of course, during that time, you got to really lean on someone like Colin to talk about these things. And we noticed that there was sort of a tipping point. We were reading all the articles, and we had already kind of read the tea leaves a long time ago. For Armin's Festival in Cleveland, the Cleveland Cleveland International Classical Guitar Festival, which we hold at Cleveland Institute of Music, we noticed that, well, he wanted since we were in Cleveland, we could do something at his house. We did a live stream concert June 6th. And while we were setting it up, we actually hadn't decided at that point whether to charge tickets or not. But it became clear, I think we may have been a little bit ahead of the curve at that point, because there was still a lot of free stuff going on,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of free, which was, I think, in the spirit of the shock of the world, like having to go through this tuberculosis thing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
basically, maybe it won't end up being the same impact as tuberculosis, but the fear of what it does to a modern society is really just as great, I would think. And so the initial, first month or 6 weeks was kind of like, do things, we got to give it away for free. But once the smoke started to clear, William, it became very apparent that performing musicians, not just there's teaching musicians, of which Colin and I, of course, are teachers, but performing musicians really had to kind of, stick up for themselves. And it's like, well, this is a high quality product.
Mm-hmm.
Colin and I did a joint recital. He played a half and I played a half, and
I saw it. It was excellent.
And you were there, there. We had 170 people in the audience, and we charged a very nice price, for it. And the price was right. And I think, again, it's sort of at the beginning of a very new thing we didn't really know.
Right.
So so that's the reason for it, is because artists cannot continue to just give away stuff, because they have to feed their families. I mean,
sure.
It's really simple as that. So, and not have to sell their house and stuff. So
sure.
That's my best answer to that I can give right now. So
yes. Okay. I noticed that you will be performing some of your own compositions at the concert. Could you tell us a little bit about your inspiration for writing these, when they're written, and if you performed these compositions before?
Yeah, these have been getting some questions about this. I've been getting a lot of emails about it, which is fine. And composing is something I've been able to do since I was a little kid. I wrote my kind of cheap knockoffs, these third-rate knockoffs of Fernando Sor when I was 11 and 12.
Right.
I don't know if those are still, I think they're still in some kind of books that my mother would say there was something time ago. And, I always wrote, I just never had the time. You know, there's no real worth for me in writing something unless it's going to be a record, unless it's going to be kind of like a gig or a record.
Mm-hmm.
And because otherwise it just goes out into the ether and there's nothing to it. So
right.
Except William, for COVID.
Yes.
Yeah. Except for that little thing that happened this last this last winter around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like a kind of an opportunity. If we remember in March, there was this window where it was like, oh my gosh, these performer types are going to have all kinds of time. They're going to be sitting around doing nothing. And I was like, I was reading all these articles and talking to all my musician friends around the world and teachers and everything. And I was like, okay, yeah. And, actually when I got married to my wife, years ago, she said before we were married, she's like, man, you're coming up with stuff all the time that I know you're not performing. You're just playing stuff. She told me, 8-9 years ago, you should be writing that stuff down. And I used to laugh. I was like, okay, yeah, that would be really nice, wouldn't it? Well, because there's no time. There's no, between the schools and the 2/3 of the year on the road, there's no way.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got kids and stuff like that, which we wanted right from the very beginning. We got right to that. So the composing thing started to appear during March, and I wrote almost 60 minutes of short guitar pieces, like between March and sort of the middle of April, and then it was really just fleshing them out and doing some details. And so when June 6th came around, I was like, hey, I got 2 new pieces, or do you want to hear the pieces I wrote? Like this guy. I mean, that was basically what it was. So I played them or whatever, and the response has been great from this kind of small group of people that tuned in. And so I thought it wasn't anything other than as a creative outlet and some kind of therapy for myself. It was great therapy to do during that first month of shock. So yeah, that's really what it is, and I hope to perform more. And I saved the best 2 for your series. So
excellent. I'm so looking forward to that. It looks like you're going to be playing an entirely different program than you played back in October of 2019 in Portland. Can you tell us a little bit about the rest of the program?
Well, this happens sometimes with series where you do, in your case, I mean, you're running this thing in 3 different cities, and they're all, kind of far apart from each other too.
Yes.
So I did the first, one of those. Again, this was back in November, and we didn't, we had really no idea that the other 2 weren't going to happen for a while. So yeah, you had told me it was you, the presenter, as the interviewer, was saying, well, you played that program in Portland. So I was like, oh, yes, I know.
I happen to know that you have a vast repertoire, and I probably couldn't ask that to everyone, but I knew that you'd be able to handle it because you're always playing
I've been preparing for this gig. Yeah, so I've been preparing for this gig for like 2 months because, of course, as you know, these discussions about the future have to happen over 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I knew, yeah, of course, we got to do it that way. We got to do it right, and we're gonna do it right. And so yeah, we got a totally different program for you folks in Portland, and because that's the right thing to do.
So in addition to performing, it looks like you're doing quite a bit of teaching at the Cleveland Institute of Music and the Curtis Institute of Music. Since this pandemic has hit, have you seen a change in the way that you're teaching and giving lessons? Are you giving more virtual lessons through Zoom and things like that?
Yeah, well, CIM is on site, and Curtis has made the decision. Again, all these decisions have to be made with great thought and over a long period of time. So we knew quite a while ago that CIM would be on campus, and that Curtis would be all virtual for the fall semester.
Mm-hmm.
And so we haven't started Curtis yet, but actually yesterday, August 10th, was the first day of classes at CIM.
Mm.
And today, which I just ran from, was my first day teaching Cleveland Institute of Music, and then a quick meeting with my boss, the president, Paul Hogel, who has been tremendous through this whole thing. I mean, tremendous leadership, as well as Roberto Diaz with Curtis.
Excellent.
And I got here, to do this, to meet with you, which is a great pleasure. And
great.
What's funny, I think the best story I can relate to is what happened today. 2 of the CIM students were not cleared, had not gotten their COVID tests, which are done, I think what it was, by the first day of classes, like, the students had to prove, I don't know if the tests were done at CIM or they had to be done independently. I don't know the details of that. But they had to have a positive COVID test, like, on their phone, proof of it, in order to enter the building. Mm-hmm. 2 of them did not. And so those 2 went to a virtual, because everything at CIM is, at the building.
Right.
But we conducted our seminar class with students in the room and virtually for everybody. And we studied Bach cello suite. We studied 3 different arrangements on guitar of that, and I played through them all. And then I also played one of my pieces too.
Excellent. Well, we're looking forward to having you. We're looking forward.
It's always good. I play for the students all the time, like at Curtis and CIM. It's good because they get a real sense of their teacher and how they.
Great.
How to navigate the instrument, how they solve problems, and all that kind of thing. You talk about it.
Well, the master class is coming up on August 29, which we're looking forward to. So that's going to be great.
Yes.
And the virtual master class format is a little different. You just have to send an audition video, and then we will pick up to 3 players because we want to have enough time for some Q&A. And it'll be a great learning experience for everyone of all different levels. A lot of my students in the past, or even audience members in the series, have said, I don't know if I'm really at the level to do a master class. But it's really about, I think they're even intimidated to audit the class. But everybody really benefits a lot from auditing a master class. And you can get a lot of great information, even if you're just starting out. I even have other musicians that play other different instruments audit master classes because they get something out of it. And so I'm really looking forward to that. Education is a big part of our mission, and so to have you on board to do that is huge. So I just wanted to.
Well, I'm happy to be a part of it, and I'll just add to that to any students that could be watching this, is that when I was growing up in Buffalo, New York, not only with the occasional Buffalo master classes, but particularly with Rochester, which is an hour away, with the Rochester Guitar Society. Of course, that was a great organization that really took me under their wing when I was a kid, like 11, 12, 13 years old. And they would invite me to play at all these master classes for David Russell, Carlos Barbosa Lima, Leona Boyd, Alice Arts. And, and I would play in these things. And of course I'd be kind of buzzing, a little bit for anyone that was in the class after mine, because I had just played for them. It's like,
sure.
You get up for it,
Uh-huh.
But the amount that I learned from those Buffalo and Rochester master classes from auditing was huge, because you actually then step outside of yourself, and that act of actually stepping outside your thing, when you're in the moment, I mean, half the stuff the teacher's going to be telling you is going to be like going right over your head because you're just buzzing too much, Uh-huh. But the auditing thing is actually very important, because you pick up a lot of stuff that you would not normally pick up from playing. Auditing is just as important as playing, in my opinion.
Excellent. Well, to wrap things up, I want to encourage everyone to get tickets for this concert. It's going to be very exciting to see these new compositions and see him perform. And I got to see the last concert he did, and the sound and the video is amazing. It's great quality. I'm also looking forward to the masterclass. So make sure that you log on to usclassicguitar.org to get tickets. And was there anything else you would like to add before we go, Jason?
Well, just to repeat that, I mean, not to sound like a commercial, US Classic, is it classic guitar or classical?
Yes, classic guitar, yep.
usclassicguitar.org for the tickets. And I'll see you guys and say hi to you. And we'll do the best we can virtually in this time. And, you know, of course, you know, as a very much a, you know, I think a lot of people that have been, you know, the people that have been watching me for years and going to concerts, they know I'm very much alive in the moment kind of thing. We'll get back to that as soon as we can, but
yes.
we're going to do this now. And I did a live stream last night for the donors of Cleveland Institute of Music.
Great.
I've done about 5 or 6 at least.
Excellent.
I mean, for artist works and this kind of thing. So I've been keeping myself, you know, in fighting condition for all this stuff for sure.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, until August 29, we'll see you all later. Have a great, stay healthy, and talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, William.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. We'll see you there.